Folks, sorry about the technical difficulties. My name is Brian Wheeler. I'm from Adidas Wearable Sports Electronics, and you folks heard from my colleague Kazar at the keynote address over the lunch, or after lunch. I'm here with Bryce Beamer, who's another colleague. Kazar talked quite a bit about our team sports system, and so I'm going to try and keep this mercifully short for you because you know much of what I could say about this. So what I think I'm going to do is simply open up with a video which describes the way the system is used in practice. It was produced by one of our groups with the product marketing manager, Matt Heimers, is in a starring role. And then after that, I think I'll simply open up the program for questions here and see if there's any questions. There was a lot of people came to me after the keynote, and we had some interesting discussions, so maybe there's some questions left out there. So here we go. Here's the video with Matt Heimers starring.
My name is Matt Heimers. I'm the project manager for MyCoach Elite, which is a state-of-the-art physiological monitoring system made for football. The brain is the base station, which you can see here. And what plugs into those are the player cells. Each player will individually have one of these, and it fits nice and snugly into a tight tech-fit underlayer. This measures speed, distance, heart rate, acceleration, and a GPS, an accelerometer, a gyroscope, a magnetometer, and also collecting heart rate off the body. This then communicates to the base station, and from there, the information is displayed within a second live on an iPad. So I can go back as a coach and look at the entire session. I can mark drills, I can do training sessions and plans, and I can see exactly what all my athletes on the field have done. We began with AC Milan as part of our original research into technology and going out and visiting teams, and it was apparent right from the start that they are way more advanced, certainly in the football world, than any other teams out there. They have their Milan lab there, which is focused on getting everything out of their athlete, monitoring to the absolute T to ensure that they're at peak physical performance. We're really just looking to add an extra layer onto that. We have worked with them on various elements of the system, including the actual fit of the shirts, what metrics to display, how to display them, and how to actually make information useful for a coach. We've prototyped with them, we've done many testing sessions with them, and they were of course the first team to get what is now a finished product. We are really looking at what we've done now with MyCoach Elite as the first step in what is going to be a very evolutionary process.
Okay, so that was kind of a brief overview of the system and some shots of it being used. What I'd like to do now is show some of the user interfaces screens that we have on our iPad. Kazar mentioned that one of the key elements of this product isn't so much the wearable part of it, but it's the turning data into useful information. And this is something that is key to any advance in wearable sports or wearable electronics or wearable technologies, getting away from the idea of presenting data or presenting things in a kind of a raw form, but really understanding the user's application, really understanding the user's needs, and presenting data in an informative and useful way. And this is an example of that. This is our heat map technology, where we take the location information, which is derived from the players, and allow the coaches to look at the relationships between two players. They might be an attacker and a defender. They might be two defenders that are required to maintain an orientation and keep the game, a certain strategy going in the defense. In this case, you see Mr. Fernandez and Mr. somebody whose name I can't pronounce. And the heat map is describing the locations of these players over a particular period of time, which the coach can select. if you can imagine this in a situation where a defender is supposed to be covering an attacker, you should see them covering the heat maps paralleling each other, for instance. But this is an example where you have location data, which is sort of a not very interesting stream of numbers, and turned into something which is visual and easily understandable. And this is going to be the key for many other wearable technologies and sensor systems that might show up in other products. Let me see if I can show you a couple of other screens. This is an example of our heart rate and speed screen. The key feature here, this is, you might think of this as sort of an intermediate step between the visualization screen I showed earlier and a sort of a raw data screen. But in this case, we've applied relative heart rate zones and speed zones in the form of multicolored bands across the screen. So the coach can easily understand where that player is in relation to certain targets and certain limits. And this is an example of a screen which would be available for any of the players wearing the system. I think at this point, if what I'd like to do is just open it up for questions. You heard so much about the system from Kazar that I can't add too much now, but if you have specific technical questions, for instance, that weren't addressed, I've got a couple of them span over here. What do you use for locating the players on the field with technology? We use GPS technology, so it's pretty standard stuff. We've implemented it in a fairly robust way inside the player cells, so they've got pretty sensitive antennas as opposed to what you might find in a cell phone or you know, even a commercial GPS unit. Any other questions? Over here.
To what extent is this used for real-time decisions as opposed to post-mortem analysis?
So that is something which I think is yet to be determined. Now, this product entered the market in December of this year, and it's been used a good bit, but we are still out there talking to the teams and talking to the coaches and understanding how they're using it. That's one of the reasons why we're using the Adidas relationship with various teams and leagues like the MLS to really understand how this product can be used to improve training. And we'll make enhancements to the system as needed to fit it to the way teams actually operate. The real-time data is available, and the iPad interface makes a really convenient on-field tool. But I think, you know, how it's going to be used and how it's going to be used efficiently in training is information we're still gathering. Are we out of time? Yeah. Yep. Yes. It's redundant information, but there, being as it's a wireless technology, there is always the chance that some of the information will get lost because of aggressors, EMI, and things like that. So you get a complete set when you download it, and you know, any holes get filled in. So that's the way that works. I think that's going to have to be the last question because I'm out of time. But thank you for your attention.